Yo, what is up, YouTube? It is Envy, and I hope all is well on your end. Today's going to be a bit of a discussion video of a Dead by Daylight change coming in, one that heavily revolves around how I used to play Dead by Daylight back in the day. And way back in the day, I was a Trickster main, and I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts as a former Trickster main, how I feel about the upcoming changes revolving Trickster's kit and his style points, as well as all the other changes that you may or may not have seen when you were watching the Dead by Daylight community stream for February 2026. Just for the record, the PTB will be live next Tuesday, and I believe that is February 24th. I had to go check real quick. Yep, February 24th. And I will be live in the evening for that. That was around like 4 or 5 p.m. Central, so feel free to check me out as I take a deep dive into the Trickster rework. And also, I might talk about the map in this little talk. So, welcome to my TED Talk, guys. Let's get into it. So, the Trickster rework addresses some problems that he got in the 7.4 update, which was the Chucky chapter in the winter of 2023. But we are going to... I want to see real quick because I don't really remember the talking points here. I'm going to just fly by real quick. Oh, yeah, here we go. So, first thing we're going to talk about is the Trickster HUD. The Trickster HUD will feature this diamond at the top of the screen. It will have the letter E to S, so it is a tier system. You start out at E tier, you go to S tier as you get more style points. That's the main feature about the Trickster update, is the style points. Also, too, we are downgrading our blade count from 44 to 36. And something interesting that you may not have seen in the live stream that the devs didn't even talk about, we are now getting 6 laceration hits per hit state or health state, because our current version of Trickster now, you need 8 blades to damage a survivor, and which I think this is a positive change overall. Less blades the better. Also, we're getting less blades in our inventory, so that matters a lot. When Trickster first released back in 2021, there was 8 blades, and back then you had to use the add-on called the Melody is Murder. It was named something else in its entirety. I think it was like Murderous Drive or something, but back then it moderately reduced each survivor's laceration state, and that was 8 to 6, by the way. And this is back when Trickster had 60 blades. But now we're getting 36 at the March 2026 update. So, this is overall a positive change. Nowadays, when I play Trickster, I run Trick Blades because it is very hard to get 8 laceration hits on survivors, but I'm very happy about this change. Also, the HUD rework also indicates that the main event button and the icon is also visible. This is something that the newer killers and newer reworks are doing, where there's multiple HUD icons for the powers. So that's something worth taking a look at. History of combo systems here. So for 4.6, it didn't really have that much like capabilities for Trickster's power. You only get like blade hits, and then I feel like behavior like completely messed up like the wording of the combo system. So back then, when you needed main events, you needed 30 blades, and at 7.4 you only needed 8 blades to hit main events. So you get main event more consistently. So, but something that they're doing for 9.5, which is the March 2026, the combo style is now visible to survivors. It rewards accuracy with blades, tracks distance actions in the trial, improves Trickster's blade throw and locker reload speeds, which That's majorly appreciated. And Ty's skills of reaching S in all lucky main events faster and more often. So it looks like we're going to get main event more consistently in this particular update, which is very interesting. And there's also more ways to get main event regarding the ranks. So we're going to move past this and take a look at that. And here is the rank icons. This is pretty much similar to Marvel Rivals and with Deadpool, but I think this will be much better than Deadpool and Marvel Rivals because I've been playing Deadpool and Marvel Rivals. So you get from E all the way to S tier. The art style looks great though. I'll give credit to Behavior on that. E is very simple, but you have S where it is just very stunning and very visual. So the art department of Behavior, it never fails to amaze me. So pretty good on that. And now we're going to take a look at how the style points are made. So Trickster pulls out a blade. Hang on a second. Then, as you can see at the top, half of the E for the skill points has already been made. So it looks like that you'll be able to get one blade fills in like half of the meter. I don't know if it's just specifically the E tier, so you can get out of E tier pretty easily. And also you can barely see clearly that the laceration meter is reduced. So happy thoughts. But at one point it goes away from E, or it just reset it. Sorry, I completely forgot about this. Okay, now here's a better representation of how the skills ranks work. So you're throwing knives, you switch from E to D, and it looks like that you get... It doesn't tell you how many points in E. I think it's like... Well, you do have this meter on the top right here, and it's like a timer, and if this timer goes down, your skill grade lowers. So if right now it's C, it would have went back to D. But something interesting though, if you hit M1, you get essentially 33% of your skill grade raised instead of 50% with your blade. But then Trickster goes in and kicks a pallet. That raises it by, I would assume, 33%, or unless that is 50%. Which, 33 and 50, that's 83. But then Trickster goes for Jake and gets a B. Now, something very interesting about the tiers system, which I think is going to be seen right away. Now, Trickster hits Jake and Yunjin within like 2 seconds from each other. The grade does not change. So what the devs have said is that if you consistently get M1 attacks or basic attacks, the grades will not change. It will not go up, it will not go lower. It'll stay the same. And the timer, which is the border of the skill grade, will only will lower if you do not do anything. So that's worth knowing. Also, just a little bit of a side note that only 3 add-ons on Trickster are going to be staying the same, and then every other add-on is going to get reworked. So hope to God that Trick Blades stay the same, because I still like Trick Blades. So I'm not going to be using that much when I test this out, but it's worth mentioning. And also, if you get a hook, you'll get 33% of your skill tree, or your skill rank. So, okay, now we're at the A tier right now, and Trickster is really close to getting the S tier. So here's a bit of a visual of what that is going to entail. Trickster pulls out a blade, and he is now in S tier. And as you saw, Trickster gets Killer Instinct when he is an S tier for 4.4 seconds. Behavior really wanted to incorporate this 4 into Trickster's power because 4 in Asia, I don't think it's just Korean, it's just it's Asian, but 4 is an unlucky number, kind of like 13. So they're keeping that 4. And it looks like the timer is longer for grade reduction. So that's gonna say a lot about the grade system. It's definitely like gonna be a lot more to learn instead of just like mindlessly throwing knives. But overall, they haven't said like really much other than just the killer instinct about the S tier, other than the fact that main event is going to be proccing, which we're going to go to right now. We're going to go to main event. So Trickster charges up main event like so. Goes to A. Enters Jake. Now we're in S tier, and this is when main event is ready to go. So I imagine that this timer right here is the timer of when main event is ready to go. So unfortunately, main event is still on a timer, a set timer of when you can proc it. It is not a permanent timer, so you can't just be camping on the hook, ready with main event, and just ready to go. No, you got to use main event more accurately and more ready. So we're gonna go into main event right now, and there's an animation difference right away because Trickster, he pulls out his main event with his blades with both hands. So it is a visual difference. And also, Trickster back then had a gold border all around to signal that main event is ready. This time, main event being ready is these 2 purple fades on the top and the bottom. So when we go to main event, you get like these particle-like effects like stars, which looks really, really cool. And it looks like that the timer for S tier is fading. Yeah, it's consistent with the main event timer down here on the bottom, as well as the timer up top for the diamond. And also, too, when you're done with main event and let's just say you get 2 downs in main events, your grade will go up consistently. So you went from D to B if you get 2 survivors down with main events. So that is pretty cool. That's pretty cool to know that you can have main events at a very consistent pace if you are pretty damn accurate with the Trickster blades. It would be interesting to know if it's like from like E to C if you get 1 down, or if you get from E to D if you get an injury. I'm pretty sure, or it's all based on injury state, or if B is the cap for like the best case scenario when it comes to your main event. Here's another look at it. The particle effect is like really cool. The visuals are definitely like really amazing on this. And that's pretty much like all that the Trickster has got going for him. And real quick, I do really want to talk about the long-awaited Trickster map. The map that has been 5 years in the anticipation, and I imagine like a few years in the making. So the map is going to be called the Trickster's Disillusion, and the realm I think is called the Sleepless Streets. It was only mentioned 1 time, but we are getting a Korean street map that is highlighted in 4 different zones. The high streets, the low streets, the nightclub, and the marketplace. So this will be a very like Raccoon City style like map where there's a lot of closed spaces. So Huntress Hatchets, it might have a problem. Deathslinger might have a problem. Even Trickster might have a problem with his own map. But again, this is the Trickster's Disillusion. So this is actually the Killer Shack, by the way. This building, and we'll take a look at the building real quick. in a matter of minutes. But this is the this is a convenience store that is near the marketplace. This is just an alleyway. This is in the low streets. And here's the aerial view of the map itself. These two right here are the exit gates. And this is the shack right here. The shack has an opening in the middle. So if you could land like a orbital hatchet, you might be able to get someone because a gen will spawn in the middle. But this is the nightclub, this is the marketplace, this is the low streets, and this is the high streets. I'm pretty sure, yep, here's a visual. And then you have this red line. So if you are playing killer and it's time for the in-game collapse, you'll be able to get a good visual of the exit gates. I'm pretty sure this will stay consistently, kind of like Midwich and the game. So it sucks that the exit gates may stay the same throughout, but we'll have to see when the PTB goes live. So this is the visual of the nightclub. The nightclub itself will, this base right here will not be accessed for survivors. It is very like low line fog and very hard to see, so this will not be accessed. But this, the platform here will, because of the generator right here. This alleyway for, I think this is the nightclub. This is the marketplace and the park. So you have this big structure here, there's a gen right over here, and there's food trucks all over the place. Here's a little bit of a street, kind of like a Haddonfield kind of like vibe. This is the shack, by the way, because you got basement, pallet, window, opening. You also had hatch. This is the high streets. Where are we in the stream? The high streets has this like cafe for ramen and all that stuff. I think this is like the, hang on, this is the Fed Spin soda, I believe, which is a Trickster add-on. This is Chuck, this guy in the middle with the knife. Thank you, Eric, for the lore. It's cool seeing all these like Trickster posters and these merchandise all over the place. I think this is just a, I don't know if it's like a certain shop. This might be a record shop. I'm pretty sure there was a record shop mentioned, but I don't know if this is entirely. This could be it because I'm just now seeing this poster right here. But this is the low streets, and this is kind of like the shady part of town. And it's something else interesting is that you may see these signs with the lightning bolt. That is to signal that there is a generator either right below the sign or inside of the building that it is in. We have a laundromat with some entity-made walls, and in a minute you'll see a vault with the entity goop. This is similar to the theater of Greenville Square, as well as Freddy's Fazbear Pizza. So the devs are really liking this like consistency of entity goop in walls and in vaults. So it's pretty good art choice. It just goes to show that the memories of everyone in the entity's realm are still fuzzy, and making it so that these rooms are a little bit more balanced. So this is a video of Yunjin in the Trickster's Disillusion, just looking around. That's the marketplace, and that's the nightclub with all the Trickster posters. Yunjin's walking around. I think she's walking towards the exit gate. Yeah, this is the exit gate. You'll notice with the the switch, and it is themed to a subway, and it has like these metal gates signaling that subway's closed. So imagine that when it's open, it will rise up. So it will be easy to find the exit gates for the realm. You just gotta look for the big subway logo right here. Kind of like Dead Dog Saloon, where you just have to look at the towers, because those towers are like very tall, or even Eerie of Crows, where the towers are very, very tall. I would imagine it's a little bit harder to find the exit gates in Eerie of Crows because there's buildings all over the place. So you could get lost in this map, I will say. Because this is not like RPG where if you played Resident Evil or you've been through RPG, you know the layout. But the exit gates will stay the same no matter what. I may or may not be wrong here. And it's been a while since I've seen this footage, so going into the nightclub again. This is the entrance to the nightclub. You have a coat rack. You have the welcome desk. And this is mentioning earlier of how you're gonna find the gems besides finding the light poles. You use this sign, similar to Larry's, with the bathroom signs and the lights flickering. That's how you find it. Midwich doesn't have anything like that. It's only on the original maps. And here's the tunnel for the exit gate, similar to Tub Landing and Nostromo. So, it's also the Wither Isle technically has this tunnel look to it, so pretty damn good looking. Yunjin's at the marketplace right now. I think this is a new image. It looks nice, and it really does look nice. I don't know if I have the best quality for it. It's auto. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Yeah, and also too, there is like, I don't read Korean, but special thanks to like Mythskull for making a video before the Dead by Daylight stream. But he mentioned that a Korean viewer said that the majority of the Korean signage is all like mentioning that you're doomed, you will not escape, you're going to die. So the wording is like very like, it's very like dooming. It's very dark. So what is seen is probably not advertised. The nightclub may not say nightclub or the nightclub's name. So up there's Chuck again, going into the, this is the record store. There's Chuck. And something interesting too, Eric had a Chuck plushie, which is very funny. Oh man, I would probably buy that Chuck plushie. But looks like we're, I don't know where this is. Yeah, this is the convenience store, and we have a statue of another character just off to the side. Yeah, this is not asparagus. This is like a leek, or yeah, I think it's like a leek. I'm not too sure. I don't know. I'm not like, I don't like Korean cuisine, so I don't really know what this is. I've not had Korean cuisine as much. So got some streets. This is the karaoke bar, karaoke club. You have the stage, all these Trickster posters, and we didn't get much footage, or we just didn't have enough. Okay, yeah, there's a generator in there, lights, bar setting. Okay, I think that's the last footage. Oh yeah, here's the hooks. So the hooks, they have this like steel truss system, and there's TVs on it. So Trickster has his own unique hook, which is very cool to see. I would imagine if you played on Trickster's Disillusion as Xenomorph, the hooks will change, which absolutely sucks. I don't know why Xenomorph had to get those custom hooks, but and here we are at the park. There's the exit gate, and that is pretty much it for the Trickster rework, as well as the Trickster's Dissolution, aka the Sleepless Streets. So what's a good video? This is pretty good, right? Yeah, this is a good one. It shows off the nightclub. Okay, so yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I am very hyped about the Trickster rework, and hopefully you guys can come along with me for the ride. This Tuesday, or the next Tuesday, February 24th, to check out all of the Trickster changes, as well as all the other changes, including the changes to auras, the perk description updates, and many, many more. Also, the Grimoire will be opening up in a few weeks with perks, killer textures, and all that other stuff. I didn't really look at the Grimoire stuff, but that's for another day. If you guys like what you see, feel free to hit the like button. And do not forget to subscribe for more Dead by Daylight and all things gaming. Until next time, guys, I am out of here.